Today is Wednesday, 22nd of November 2023. It is National Cranberry Release Day, Go for a Ride Day, National Jukebox Day, National Taiwan on Day, and much more. This is funny. But actually, according to the history, in 1826, John Walker invented the friction match in England. In 1895, Swedish inventor and a businessman Alfred Nobel signed his last will and testament and donated the majority of his assets to establish the Nobel Prize. In 1960, Mauritania declared its independence from French rule. That is 22nd November, the most important day. Starting the newspaper analyst with the newspaper, The Hindu states that Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu says war against Hamas will not stop after a ceasefire. Hamas predicted a Qatari mediated deal could be reached in the coming hours, while Netanyahu was convening top decision makers to discuss the matter. A woman takes a photo of a poster showing Israeli held captive in the Gaza palace underneath a picture of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu with calls for the Israeli leader to reach a deal to bring them home in Tel Aviv, Israel. The Hindu newspaper also states that Russia's Wagner to offer air defense to Hezbollah or Iran. United States says Russia's mercenary Wagner group was preparing to bolster the air defense of Lebanon's Hezbollah movement or the regime in Tehran. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby says. The Hindu newspaper also states that joint exercise of United States Special Forces begin in Meghalaya. Vajra Prahar 2023 is the 14th edition of the program aimed at sharing best practices in the operational tactics. Vajra Prahar 2023 is the 14th edition of the program aimed at sharing best practices in the operational tactics. The Hindu newspaper also states that National Herald case enforcement drive seizes assets worth rupees 752 crore. Congress links it to polls. The young Indian tied to the Gandhi family had been under the enforcement drive scanner over charges of acquiring the AJL, publisher of the National Herald newspaper, and its assets for pittance against an alleged loan extended by the Congress. It is said by the Indian Express newspaper. The case is based on a private complaint by Baijus Subramanian Swamy in Delhi court in 2013. Indian Express also states that taking stubble burning, Supreme Court asks Punjab government why it can't bear crop residue management expenses. The top court said the centre and state should forget the politics over minimum support price and work out plans to help farmers switch to crops other than paddy. To judge bench of the Supreme Court was discussing the option is to tackle stubble burning in Punjab, one of the major contributors to air pollution in the national capital region. Indian Express also states that ex-Chief Justice defends rap on EC if it is seen titling it matters in a democracy was moved from the Tamil Nadu to Meghalaya after he said EC should face murder charge for violating a COVID protocol. Justice Sanjeev Banerjee when towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that Delhi air quality turns server air quality index reading stands at 413. Delhi's air quality turned was server on Wednesday at 9 a.m. with the air quality index reading of 413, worsening from the average 24-hour air quality index reported a day earlier. Courtesy the reduced wind speeds over the last few hours overnight. Hindustan Times also states that Israel approves 4-day ceasefire deal with the Hamas for release of 50 hostages. Israel will stop its bombardment in Gaza for 4 days, exchange of 450 hostages held in captivity by Hamas. We should briefly explain in this paragraph that in the first thrust between Israel and Hamas aimed at the war going on for over 6 weeks, the Israeli government on the Wednesday approved a deal of ceasefire in which 50 women and children would be freed by Hamas. This, however, is not the end of the war. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said before his war cabinet voted on the deal, the war will go on on until Hamas is eliminated and all hostages are free. Netanyahu said, "We are at war and we will continue the war until we achieve all our goals to destroy Hamas, return all our hostages, and ensure that no entity in Gaza can threaten Israel," Netanyahu said before the meeting. Israel also states that light at the end of the tunnel workers' safe Ahmad operation. At 3:45 a.m. on Tuesday morning, the first granary visuals were seen of a man in a billow-hard hat peering into the 6-inch pipeline. From one end, there was the booming voice of rescuers looking on anxiously. "Oh, are you okay?" the rescuer asked. The man in the hat responded, "I'm okay." This screen grab image provided by the Uttarakhand State Disaster Response Force (SDRF) shows one of the 40 workers trapped inside a collapsed tunnel. From the business point of view of economy of the country, IPEF supply chain pact won't impact policy in space to impose export curbs. Official IPEF was launched jointly by United States and other partners countries of the Indo-Pacific region on May 23 last year, largely to counter China's influence on the trade. The supply chain resilience agreement of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity (IPEF) will not curb New Delhi's policy space to impose export restrictions, a government official said on Tuesday. Australia, Brunei Darussalam, Fiji, India, Indonesia, Japan, the South Korea, Malaysia, New Zealand, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and the United States and Vietnam are members of the bloc. G20 Leaders Summit New Delhi Declaration Enhanced Cooperation, key focus areas. As the New Delhi summit had drawn to a close in September, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has proposed a virtual session in November before the end of India's presidency. Brazil will take over the G20 presidency from December 1st. G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant, while speaking at a Curtain Razor briefing for the virtual G20 Leaders Summit Tuesday, said a development will be the core agenda, while leaders may discuss many other issues. IPOs galore of 5 companies to make straight debt this week. Rupees 7,000 crore likely to be raised. IREDA is the Government of India enterprise under the administrative control of the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, MNRE. It is engaged in promoting, developing, and extending financial assistance for setting up projects relating to the new and renewable sources of the energy and energy efficiency and conservation. Another NBFC, FedFina, plans to raise up to rupees 1,092 crore through the public issue. The price band of FedFina IPO is rupees 133 to 140 per equity share. Going towards the world news, including Israeli-Hamas agree a deal for release of a Gaza hostage trust. North Korea launched a rocket in what may be its third attempt to put a spy satellite into the orbit. Xi Jinping calls for ceasefire to end Israeli-Hamas conflict in Gaza. India asks its national in Myanmar to register with assembly in Yangon. Ukrainians who fled their country for Israel find themselves yet again living with war. Israeli airstrikes on South Lebanon kills 2 journalists of a pan-Arab TV station, official says. Going towards the science and technology, a SpaceX Starship could fly again within a month of second's explosion. Elon Musk-led SpaceX Starship rocket could be ready to launch on its third flight as early as next month, but it still remains to be seen whether the company will get a launch license. SpaceX next generation Starship spacecraft atop its powerful Super Heavy rocket is launched from the company's Boca Chica launch pad on an uncrewed test flight near Brownsville, Texas, United States, November 18, 2023. Teenage galaxies are captured in extraordinarily detailed view by James Webb Space Telescope. The James Webb Space Telescope took one of the most detailed images of teenage galaxies, helping scientists understand how galaxies form and evolve. Webb's infrared image of the galaxy cluster El-Kodo, the far pattern reveals hundreds of galaxies, some never before seen at this level of detail. From the artificial point of view, Open Artificial Intelligence, Microsoft hit with a new author copyright lawsuit over artificial intelligence training. Open Artificial Intelligence copied tens of thousands of notification books with without permission to teach its large language models to respond to human text prompts, said another Hollywood reporter, editor Julian Sancton, who is leading the proposed class action filed in Manhattan federal court. Open Artificial Intelligence and Microsoft were sued on Tuesday over claims that there was misuse of the work of notification authors to train the artificial intelligence models that underlie services like Open Artificial Intelligence, Chatbox, ChatGPT, Sam Altman, and Satya Nadella at DevDay. At last, there's a famous quotation said by APJ Abdul Kalam, whose full name was Ol Pakir Jainul Abdin Abdul Kalam. Birth anniversary 15 October 1931 up to 27th of July 2015, was an Indian aerospace scientist and a statesman who served the 11th president of the India from 2002 to 2007. He was born and raised in the Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu, and studied physics and aerospace engineering. He spent the next 4 decades as a scientist and a scientist administrator, mainly at the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, and Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, and was intimately involved in India's space program and military missile development efforts. He thus came to be known as the Missile Man of India for his work on the development of ballistic missile and launch vehicle technology. He also played a pivotal organizational, technical, and a political role in the India's Pokhran second nuclear test in 1998, the first since the original nuclear test by India in 1974. Mr. Kalam says a famous quotation. He says that never stop fighting until you arrive at your destined place. That is the unique you. Have an aim in life, continuously acquire knowledge, work hard, and have perseverance to realize the great life. Okay, thank you.